guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm redrawing this drawing I made a little over a year ago. It's one of my OCs, naturally, of course it is. It's Morana, is that how you pronounce it? I'm sorry, my hick self probably totally mispronounced it. Anyways, right off the bat, you can see I am working on the sketch. I decided to film me in real life drawing it, so that way you can kind of see the process a bit more. But also, I feel like it's nice to have slower footage. And we're about to get to the part where I am drawing the hands and the arms, and it was kind of difficult even in the original illustration. I think it was more difficult. It's easier now because I've figured out how I can, I guess, sort of visualize it. I don't know if you can kind of see, but I'm sort of just like thinking about how the arms would bend, because it's going off screen a bit. So I had to really think about that and pretend to draw on the outside to try and get the idea. I know there's probably an easier way to do this. I know there is. There's probably a way you can just make the whole thing, the whole canvas bigger and then zoom out or whatever, but I didn't do that. I guess maybe it's laziness, I don't know. I feel like it looks better this way anyways. Maybe it's not right. There's a chance it's not anatomically correct. Don't listen to me. Aside from that, I would say the sketch was actually the easiest part of this whole thing, because otherwise, oh my goodness. I was on the struggle bus. You'll hear about it later, but I was. And here we've actually made to the sort of speed paint area of the video. Here I'm actually doing the second sketch layer because I finished up the first one. And the first one's always the simplest, and then this is the second one. I usually add details. So, you know, the eyes and stuff, and the clothing and the hair. That's usually when I add that, just to keep it separate so it doesn't get all mushed together and I don't get confused. So that's what I usually do. I was struggling a lot with the face, especially the eyes. The eyes were giving me so much trouble. Wow, so surprising that the eyes would give me trouble. Oh my goodness. So I had to really work at them for a bit. Eventually I got something that looked decent. It still looks kind of weird, but I fixed it later. It's fine. And then here I'm drawing the hair, which actually was kind of easy, a little weird. And here I was trying to draw the hands. I don't know why, but the hands in this one kind of look a little goofy. They make a little more sense than the other hands, than the hands in the original drawing. But I feel like they also simultaneously make no sense. I don't know. It looks okay, so I'm just gonna, yeah. Then here I am adding line art. Yeah, I tried to do different colors for different sections, and it did not work out, because I realized, not soon enough, I had made the line art for the skin way too light, so it just looked really weird next to, how I did darker for the hair, because her hair is darker, and that's not a bad idea, but I just made it too light for the skin, and the shirts and stuff. I should've just kept the same line art color throughout, and you'll see later I realized my mistake. Other than that, this went pretty smoothly. I was trying to sort of do the stylistic thing I've been trying to do recently, where I am trying to make everything slightly sharper, because I kind of think it looks cooler than how I originally used to draw things. Especially the hair, I feel like it just looks better. So that's what I was attempting to do, so it did take me kind of a long time. And this is where I also messed up on the skin tone. I picked a color that was too light. I don't know how I did this. I think when I was looking at the original picture, I sort of thought that the reason it looked darker was because of the shading, but no. It was also just because the background before, when I started coloring the skin tone, was white. I noticed it when I came back to this a little bit later. And here I am fixing the line art. No, I just made it worse. It got really thick and kind of like pixely, because I don't know why, but in IBIS Paint, whenever you try to change a line art color by selecting the opacity, is that how you say it? It just looks really weird. So I filled in all these base colors, okay? And I was decided, oh, I'll just start shading the eyes. And I was getting to that point where I'm like, whatever, I just want to get this done. I hate this. But yeah, I luckily, I am so glad I did this. I went back like the next day or something and just fixed it. It's fine. And here I am selecting, I guess, the skin. This is part of me fixing it. Because I realized, oh, that skin color is not right. But it's okay. I fixed it. It was not fun having to select that entire space though and fix it, but it was actually kind of quick. It was probably one of the easiest fixes actually. The really difficult one was actually the line art. I tried to use like a pencil to add some texture, but I decided that didn't really look like it, right? So I just used the normal pen that I usually use, and yeah. It looks so much better because I was like, okay, I'll just use the same color for the whole thing instead of trying to be all fancy with it because clearly that did not work out in my favor. I feel like I should say something about my OC because this is the one time where this is actually like, a current OC I have, and so I feel like I should be able to talk about them. So this, I already told you her name in the beginning, is Morana. Is that, I feel like I always mispronounce it. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Please don't come after me. She's sort of a goofball, and so that's the whole reason I made her do doing this. She's a very goofy person. I guess happy-go-lucky would be a good way to say it. Which is nice. I need more characters that are like that because most of my characters are edgy. No, not really, but kind of. She's a very positive person. Sometimes almost too positive. She kind of has a toxic positivity problem, but we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah, so she has some problems, but I love this character so much because of how goofy she is. I feel like it's really fun. And then here I am shading, of course. When I started shading the skin, it's slightly different from the original. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, it looks different. I feel like in the original, it looks more desaturated and kind of dead looking, which I think was intentional. I think I intentionally made it dead looking, but I could be wrong. This time I can say I intentionally made it look less dead looking because it just looked really weird, and this is a human, it's alive. But I think it was because she comes from a cold world where, like the people have the frostbite thing and everything. I don't know I'm not gonna explain that, that's too complicated. Probably why she looked kind of dead in the original. Here I was shading the hair. I tried something slightly different with this because I thought I could get away with it because of the darker hair color, and also because it's kind of a brown hair color, a brown color, so I thought I could get away with it. And I think it does look pretty good. It's a lot simpler than my hair shading style used to be, especially even just a year ago. It was way overly complicated to the point where it just looked kind of weird and out of balance. And you can see in even some really old illustrations, this is a very big problem. As far as how I shade clothes though, it has not really changed that much. It's slightly better because it looks more like fabric, but also I feel like it has not changed that much. But the eyes certainly have. The eyes look so much better. They look so much better. I don't know why I used to shade eyes the way I did and why I drew eyes like that. Also, as far as shading, I also kind of did this different thing where I put sort of this purple violetish shading on everything around the corners. It's sort of almost cell shading almost, but not, because I softened it a bit and lowered the opacity on it. I thought it would add a bit of color and vibrancy to the whole illustration. I think it did. I think it really did add something because in the original you could see how just bland and blah it looks. And maybe it still looks bland and blah to some people. I could totally see that because some people just add a bunch of colors in their illustrations and really go ham on the shading. I have not really done that because I'm not very good at it and because I am not experienced enough really for that, but I think this is still a good step in the right direction because it looks so much less blah than the original one. But yeah, I also started doing the background here and I had quite a hard time just trying to find some of the brushes to make the snowflakes out of. So I just used a bunch of random ones. So that's probably why it looks a little eclectic. I feel like it's also important to mention her outfit is completely different. I gave her a really heavy winter coat kind of outfit before because I don't know. That was the beginning when I was first developing her character, but now I know the cold doesn't really bug her very much, so I just gave her the short sleeves. Anyways, here's the finished illustration. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I feel like there's a lot of obvious improvement, which makes me very excited.